Hi, and welcome back to Tech Talk. I'm Ken Mingus, Executive Editor at Computer World. I'm here today with Windows guru, expert, Preston Gralla. Once again, we're going to be answering questions about Windows 10. If you're watching us live, we're on LinkedIn and YouTube. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow our LinkedIn page, the Computer World LinkedIn page. Again, as usual, if you've got questions or comments, please leave them in the comments field. We'll try to get to them while we're on the air, and if not, we'll circle back and see if we can answer them later. So, Preston, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
In fact, in terms of circling back, we actually are circling back to one of the questions that had come up at least 1 or 2 episodes ago about the camera app, which somebody had written in and said that it hasn't been working since the last 3 Windows updates. Any idea when it's going to be fixed? Do we know?
Well, you know, it is working for most people. I've been using it on several PCs. It works for me. I did a little research. This is not a widespread problem.
Okay.
But this happens a lot in Windows because it's, you know, it's not like
bad
Apple
drivers,
controlled.
perhaps? Or?
Might be bad drivers. I could think of a couple of things. The first is, now we said the camera app. It's possible the camera is working, but not the app.
Correct.
If that's the case, uninstall the camera app and reinstall it. That might do it.
Okay.
Doesn't make sense, but it often works. If it is the camera itself, it's a little more problematic.
Well, then you've got a hardware issue that's going to have to be replaced.
Right. Well, not necessarily. It might be a driver, like you said, and there is something built into Windows called Device Manager that can let you do things. Now, it's a particularly unpleasant, difficult piece of software to use.
Not something you want to use unless you must really want that camera back to do this,
right.
I guess.
If you really want it, this is what you got to do. So type in Device Manager into the search box, and then click Device Manager when it comes up, and you'll see the Device Manager. Now you need to find your camera, your device. Most likely it's under imaging devices.
Okay.
Given it's Microsoft, it could be under sound. It could be under who knows what. It's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Right-click it. And when you right-click it, a menu is going to pop up. Select Update Driver. If it's an old driver, it'll update it. That may or may not work. If that doesn't work, go back, right-click it again, and what you can do is you can basically uninstall it. So just click uninstall and uninstall the thing. Now, if this is a built-in piece of software, it might be problematic because I'm not sure how you're going to install something that is physically there. You know, so that might be a problem. But if it's an extra piece of hardware, then come back here and select Install.
Okay.
Those things might do it, and if not, the person should just get in touch with the manufacturer of the hardware.
And find out what's going on
going on, because they might have other reports of this. And it may be that, you know, what happens over time is hardware and the drivers get outdated as new versions of Windows come out. Might be it's over.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sometimes you get something that, I mean, since we're talking about a problem that's going back 3 iterations of Windows, it may be that the manufacturer just is no longer supporting this or updating it, and they'll have to find some other solution.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And so it may be that, because it is odd, I have not found any other reports about this. So it's clearly, if that's your PC, sorry about it, but you might be able to fix it.
Okay, good. Well, good advice. At least you know where to start, where to try. If you're just tuning in, we're answering Windows 10 questions with Preston Gralla. So next question. Is it necessary to use a third-party antivirus when Windows Defender is running in the background?
No, and not only is it not necessary, it's not advisable.
Okay, why
because
not?
If you have Windows Defender and another piece of antivirus, you're going to slow down your PC.
Okay, because they're both doing the same sort of thing at the same time?
They're both in the background. And that's just one more app running in the background that you don't want running there. And, you know, I used to run a third-party app instead of Windows Defender, but I don't think there's much of a difference anymore. I mean, it's pretty good. It's lightweight, so it doesn't slow down your PC. It works well. So I'd say stay with Windows Defender. Forget about the third party. There's one thing, though, that you can do that I do suggest to do sometimes. There's Windows Defender and other antivirus software isn't always great at killing and finding and killing adware that sort of could pop up windows, do annoying things. There's something called Malwarebytes. There's a free version of it.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, don't buy it. Just get the free version and do a single scan. And when you do that, it has found adware I didn't know about it and killed it. Yeah. Oh, this is this is not uncommon at all that you don't know why, but the stuff ends up there. So I'd suggest that.
I even see that on the Mac side. I'm
really?
an Apple guy, and I don't notice it as much, but invariably my mom will call and say, like, something's popped up on her computer. I don't know where she's clicking or where it's coming from. But it does seem to be more prevalent on the Windows side than on the Mac side, but it still, you can get it on the Mac side too.
Yeah, I mean, actually, my wife's computer is filled with this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why it is. She certainly maybe I shouldn't ask what site she's visiting.
I don't. That's for another episode. So Windows Defender on its own is good, and Malwarebytes is good. The free version, just to check and see if you can find adware.
Right, and just do it as a scan. Don't run it in the background.
Got it.
Do it as a scan, and then just close it down.
Good advice. Okay, good enough. Okay, a couple things. These are like sort of two questions in one. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Windows 10 and answering questions with Windows expert Preston Gralla. What's the next version of Windows Desktop? When is it getting released? And will it be more user-friendly? Will it be as user-friendly as predecessors like Windows 7?
Right. So a couple of issues here. One is, when's the next one coming out?
When is the next one? 1909 should be out soon, and we're almost out of 9. We're heading in toward 10 in a week or so.
Yeah, it should be out soon, but the thing is, when Windows 10 was first released, 2 feature updates a year.
Yep.
One in the fall, like we have coming up, one in the spring. And there were new features added twice a year.
Right.
This one around, the one called 1909, is going to add 0 new features.
Do we think this is the pattern going forward? Every fall is just going to be basically almost like a service pack, right?
We don't know, but that's what we think. Microsoft isn't saying. Microsoft might not know, but yeah, they don't want to say. But yeah, probably once a year. And again, we've talked about this a little before. Windows is no longer the center of Microsoft. They don't want to spend the time or the money, nor should they. Windows has a lot of stuff in it already. Why develop new features that nobody wants when you could use your developers and engineers to develop really cool other kind of cloud-based things and those kinds of things? So there is one coming out. It will have no new features. The next one after that will be out next spring.
And that would be 2003?
Yes, probably.
We think.
Yeah. And it will have new features. What they are, it's a little unclear yet. I've been looking at the very early iterations. Nothing big yet, but we still have a while to go. There probably won't be anything really big because there's nothing really big to put into it. Now, let's get back to the Windows 7
I was just going to say,
10
because
thing.
I think I know the answer to this, but I want to know what you think.
Yeah. So, Windows 7 was a great piece of software. Microsoft has good Windows and bad Windows. Windows 7 was a good one.
Yeah.
Windows 8 was a piece of junk. It was really bad. And Windows 8 introduced sort of a dual interface, one for the desktop.
I remember that, yes.
And one for mobile.
Yeah.
And ever since 8 came out, Microsoft has been taking itty-bitty steps to roll that back to make Windows 10, when it came out, more like the desktop. And it can be mobile when you want it. At this point, Windows 10, it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is easy. You don't have these dueling interfaces, and Windows 7 doesn't do anything better than Windows 10 and does things worse than it. It's less secure. It's running out of service, which means,
I was just going to say we should make the point that it runs out of support in January of 2020. So if you haven't updated, you're going to be without some serious security after January.
That's exactly right. So no, there will never be Windows 7 again. It happened already. And if you have Windows 7, if you really love it, then stay with it. Just be aware of the drawbacks, which is that it's slower and that you're going to be you're going to face security problems.
Okay, got it. Good to know. Okay, a reminder, we're talking with Preston Gralla about Windows 10, answering user questions. Here's another one. Can we install Windows 10, no need to be genuine, just update it, over Windows 7 without a valid copy?
Yeah, there's 2 questions here.
Okay.
Question number 1, can you install Windows 10 over Windows 7? Question number 2, can you install a not validated copy?
We don't recommend this at home, but okay.
Exactly.
We did get the question, so I guess we'll answer it.
So first question, can you install Windows 10 over Windows 7? The answer is yes, unless your computer won't run Windows 10. What you need to do is to download a Windows 10 compatibility tool from Microsoft, run it, it'll look at your hardware, say yes, no.
Right.
Okay, so it can be done. Now, the second part is, should we do it, can you use an unvalidated copy? Now, unvalidated copy to me means pirated.
Yeah, that's my assumption.
And to me, it's theft.
Yeah.
I mean, it's plain and simple. You're stealing.
Yeah.
You say, well, Microsoft's a big company. It's worth billions of dollars. doesn't matter. You're still stealing
Yeah.
if you do this. So it can be done. And all I can say is look to your conscience to be your guide. I certainly wouldn't do it, and I think it's immoral to steal.
And is there a danger there too if you have a non-valid copy of Windows? Who knows exactly where you got it? That there may be things tucked away in there that you wouldn't want. I mean, it could actually be sort of dangerous to run that.
Oh, it could absolutely. You don't know what it is if that's the way you're doing it.
Yeah.
Now, all that being said, in fact, there is good news for the cheapskates of the world out there who run Windows 7.
All right.
Which is that Microsoft, on occasion, will run promotions to let you upgrade for free from 7 to 10. Now, the latest promotion ran out a little while ago. However, I've been finding out that people have been saying, even as in this September, that promotion...
They may do it one more time?
Still that it still works right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The way you need to do it, though, is first, again, check whether your computer can run Windows 10. If so, you're going to need to, the way you do it over Windows 7 is you need to use physical media to install it. You can't do it online. An actual disk. So what you do is you download something called the Windows 10 installation tool from Microsoft. Okay. You run that software. It will allow you to create either a bootable DVD or a bootable USB drive.
Yep.
So what you then next is then you install it using those physical media. Now what you're going to need is your Windows 7 key.
Okay.
You might not know your Windows 7 key because you bought it a long time ago.
Yeah.
However, there is software out there that will look at your PC and tell you the key.
Okay.
One is from a company, I think called Nearsoft, called Product Key. So before you do anything, obviously, get the key, write it down, use the installation media, run the installation media, type in your Windows 7 key. People have been saying it still works.
Okay.
So you might be able to get it for free. Now, one caveat, as I always say before doing a major upgrade, actually there's 3 pieces of advice: backup, backup, and backup.
Exactly.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. You want your files, you want your apps.
Yep. So back up first. Don't do the invalid thing.
Right.
And if you check right now, you might be able to get it for free anyway.
Yep.
That's really good advice. Okay, that's it for the questions that we've got. Let me ask, do we have anything from people who have been watching, whether they've got any comments or questions we need?
Yes, we do. We've actually got some comments about Windows Defender.
Uh-oh.
Oh, good. Well, good.
Good.
I'm
What
ready
do
to
they
do
say?
battle.
Good.
Someone says, Windows Defender lacks in real-time protection, sir. Windows
Sir,
Defender
he's the sir.
can't block Trojans from a website.
As far as I know, neither of those are true. It certainly offers real-time protection. It runs in the background like all the other antivirus software does, and it checks what you're doing as you do it. And there's also something, in fact, that does work with your web browser to stop Trojans. I mean, it checks things there. So, no, it...
You disagree, in other words.
I disagree.
Yes.
We'll have to duke it out.
Okay. Let's see. You were talking about keys before, so somebody asked, do we need any key to update to Windows 10?
Yeah, you do, as I talked about. Now, if you want to update from Windows 7, again, you're going to have to find your Windows 7 key. You can use this piece of software in order to do it. If you're paying for it, then you get the key.
You get a new key anyway,
you get a new key.
so you're fine.
You get a new key and you're okay, but you absolutely do need a key from 7 to 10.
Would the same thing be true for the 3 people out there who may still be running Windows 8 or 8.1?
Yes. You also need a key from 8 or 8.1 to 10. And those instructions I gave before about find your key, install, same thing. It's 7 as well as 8. Might work now, might not work. When Microsoft runs in a promotion, it will work, but it might still be working now.
Right. Worth trying anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you mentioned, Windows 8, there's a lot of comments out there of people calling it terrible.
Yeah, I think that's a comment. Microsoft seems to do that. It's like a good version, a bad version, a good version, a bad version, and Windows 8.8.1 was not a good version.
I think it was the worst operating system Microsoft ever created.
But how do you really feel?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I think you probably have a lot of company. Apparently, the commenters agree.
One more thing here. Somebody says, I recently heard 2 new vulnerabilities have been seen in Windows IE and in Defender. Is this the end of Windows?
No.
Not the end of Windows.
No, it's not the end of Windows. There will always be vulnerabilities in every operating system, really. But Windows will always have vulnerabilities. They come out all the time. Sometimes they're really bad. Sometimes they're not. A lot of these vulnerabilities, one thing to keep in mind about them is they're not always found in the wild. In other words, these often are not vulnerabilities that somebody gets. What happens is Microsoft has a bounty program, and there are people who are constantly poking and prodding it and trying to find holes in it and report about it. So these vulnerabilities, a lot of them are theoretical rather than the real world. That doesn't make them any less dangerous. You still need to do something about it, and that's why you need to update all the time, update whenever you can, and that's another reason why when we were talking about Windows 7 before, you don't want unsupported software.
You don't want to leave yourself hanging out.
You just have to update all the time, constantly.
You know, it's interesting because we have a story up at Computer World right now that reporter Greg Kaiser did last night about a security update for IE, for Internet Explorer of all things, and it was a 0-day that had been found by a engineer from Google's threat analysis group, and they reported it, and so they pushed out a patch. So, you know, these things do happen. They are out there. And,
absolutely.
So computerworld.com, if you want to find that story, it's up right now.
And a warning to IT before one more question. This is actually worse for IT than individuals because these vulnerabilities typically are launched at enterprises. I mean, look, my computer, your computer at home.
Why would they care?
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's not worth their time. But, you know, a big company leaving a vulnerability, that's how typically most of the break-ins happen, not by brilliant hackers doing genius things, but by looking for which websites and which companies have not patched Windows and finding that vulnerability and crawling in like that easily. It's what happened during the campaign to Clinton's campaign.
That's right.
And it's what will keep happening forever until IT gets smarter about it.
Update, update, update. After you back up, back up, back up.
That's
okay,
right.
Say that 3 times. Okay, so no more questions from the viewers? Oh, we do have more.
Yeah,
What-
okay.
what else we got?
Let's see. Windows 10 is updating all the time and getting stuck while during the update. Any idea what's going on there?
Wow, that's a tough one.
It could be lots of things.
It could be so many different things. It could even be a bad internet. I mean, there's so many different things it could be. I can't solve it. It's just it's too tough to know
without knowing more.
Without knowing more,
the
without
hardware.
sitting at the computer, without trying 7 different things, including trying a new internet connection and who knows what.
Okay.
All right. That's all I can see right now. There might be some more trickling in later that we can
We'll
use
circle
the
back
next
and
time.
try to see what we can find.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Preston, listen, thanks a lot. Obviously, lots of good advice here for individual users, enterprise users, etc. Obviously, we'll have you back for more questions down the road. In the meantime, coming up next week, I'm going to be here with Michael Simon from PC World, Macworld, and our own J.R. Raphael to talk about Android and Mac and innovation and who borrows from whom and who steals from whom. It should be quite the discussion. That's coming up next Tuesday. So please tune back in for that. Again, a reminder, we're on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. We're on LinkedIn Live on the Computer World page if you want to follow us there, if you like what we're doing. And for now, I guess that'll do it. It's a wrap, and thanks for watching.